Hey vinyl community, Chris Prophy back. Today what I want to do is I want to rank the Ian Gillan Deep Purple albums from the 70s. Now, I know Ian Gillan went on to make more albums in the 80s and even into the 90s and the 2000s, and those are great albums, and eventually I will rank those as well. But I want to concentrate on the classics from the 1970s with Ian Gillan on vocals. And I know there are pre-Gillan Deep Purple albums as well that are very, very good, and I will get to those in another video at some point too. I apologize, I'm in an apartment. They are mowing the lawn outside, so if you hear like something loud outside, that's what it is. Okay, so let's get into this. Ian Gillan, Deep Purple, albums ranked from the 70s. All right, so there were 6 proper albums that came out, and I will start with number 6 and go down to my favorite, which is of course number 1. So coming in at 6 is an album that came out in 1969. It's the Concerto for Group and Orchestra with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra, and it's mostly an instrumental album written by John Lord. And there are 3 movements to the piece that he wrote. Definitely falls into the classical music category. Every once in a while I do listen to it. It's definitely interesting to listen to, but the reason I put it in here is because the version I have, which was recorded the same night, Ian Gillan sings a version of Hush and Child in Time, and then they also do Wring That Neck. So I'm including it here with the Gillan albums from that classic era, but for me that comes in at number 6. Okay, so coming at number 5, we have Who Do We Think We Are? And for me, it's a really good album. It was their last one in the 70s with Ian Gillan, and it's got 3 songs for me that I really enjoy listening to. Woman from Tokyo, Mary Long, and Rat Bat Blue. So again, a great album, but if I'm going to rank them, that's coming in at number 5. Okay, so far we've got number 6, the Concerto for Group and Orchestra. Number 5, Who Do We Think We Are? Now, number 4. The live album, Made in Japan. First of all, I love the gold cover. It's just awesome. I remember seeing that as a kid and thinking that was just that color grabbed me. And then when you put down the needle, I mean, as live albums go, that is a great live album from the 70s. They do blistering versions of Speed King, Lazy, Space Truckin', and also one of my all-time favorite songs, Child in Time. Ritchie Blackmore is on fire. John Lord does great solo work. It's just, as far as live albums go, it is just kick-ass from beginning to end. So that comes in at number 4 for me. Now, top 3 Deep Purple Ian Gillan albums from the 70s. Number 3, Fireball. Fireball came out in 1971. Loved the cover artwork for that. Some classics on that album. Really, I like all the songs except for one. And again, it's not that I don't like this song, but for whatever reason, it just doesn't grab me like the other songs do. But, I mean, side 1 is all classic. You got Fireball, No, 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 Strange Kind of Woman, and one of my favorite Deep Purple songs, Anyone's Daughter. That's a cool, folky, rock song. And then side 2, you've got The Mule, which is classic. The one song that I'm not a huge fan of is Fools. And maybe I just need to listen to it more. But that song, for whatever reason, just didn't grab me as much as the other songs. And then the last song I love, No One Came. You've got great solos by John Lord in that song, or great solos by Ritchie Blackmore. So, Fireball, top to bottom, is a great album. The only song that's a little iffy for me is Fools. So that's coming in at number 3. Let me turn the page here. All right. My number 2 favorite Deep Purple Ian Gillan album from the 70s, is Machine Head. Yes, Machine Head. Machine Head is the album that everybody cuts their teeth to. You know, it's got Smoke on the Water, the first song everybody learns on guitar. Yes, it's got all the songs that you hear on the radio. But you know what, folks? It's still a great album. From top to bottom, there's only one song that's a little iffy for me. And I'm going to tell you what that song is. So you open up with Highway Star. Classic. Maybe I'm a Leo. Classic. Pictures of Home. Classic. The one song that I don't really like as much as the others is Never Before. And again, maybe I just need to listen to it a little bit more. It's not that it's not a good song. It just doesn't grab me as much as the other songs do. Side 2, Smoke on the Water, Lazy, and Space Truckin'. This album is just full of classic songs. It's got a classic sound. The riffs are there. The vocals from Ian Gillan are there. The screams are there. The arrangements of the music and the songs. I mean, it's just a classic album. And I understand why, kids just getting into these bands like Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin, they go to Machine Head because it's got the classics. I mean, you cannot go wrong with that album. Again, it's just one song in there that it doesn't grab me as much, which is Never Before. And again, maybe in a few weeks after I listen to it a few more times, I might say, hey, you know what, it's my number one song. I'm not sure. But coming in at number 1, the Ian Gillan Deep Purple albums from the 70s. My number 1 album, In Rock. And I'm showing you this version. This is the anniversary edition. I just picked this up yesterday. And I had another version of In Rock on CD, but I put this on and I didn't realize Speed King started and it sounded totally different. I was like, wait, did they put the wrong CD in here? I was a little nervous. And then, like a minute into it, Speed King started with that familiar sound to me. So I looked up and did some research. I guess this is the original UK intro to Speed King that the US market didn't get. So I never realized that. And I like it. So I'm glad I picked this up. I was like debating. I'm like, wait, you know what? I already have a version of In Rock. Do I need the 25th anniversary edition? But I'm glad I did. Because, like I said, it's got the intro to Speed King that I had never heard before. It's also got Black Knight on here as well, which is an awesome song. And it's got some bonus tracks, too, which is cool. One that I'd like to listen to, it's called Jam Stew. It's an unreleased instrumental, so I'm into that. But really, the reason I picked this album as my number 1 Deep Purple album is because I feel it's their heaviest. I feel like the songs from top to bottom are all great. I don't need to skip any songs on this album. The whole band is totally in form and engaged and just in the groove, in the zone for this album. I mean, Ian Gillan's vocals, he's at his screaming best. Richie Blackmore, John Lord, the whole band just is on fire for this album. You've got Speed King, Bloodsucker, my favorite Deep Purple song, Child in Time, Flight of the Rat, Into the Fire, Living Wreck, and Hard Lovin' Man. It just boom, boom, boom. Every song just hits you over the head. And Child in Time, that's got to be one of the heaviest songs in the history of heavy music. I mean, Ian Gillan's screams on that song are just ungodly. And I don't hear Child in Time on the radio that much. And that's actually probably a good thing because it's not getting overplayed. But that song alone just makes In Rock my favorite Deep Purple album. All right, so let me just review that. My notes. This is very official, people. This is very official. All right, the top 6 Ian Gillan-led Deep Purple albums from the 70s. Coming in at number 6, you had Concerto for Group and Orchestra. Number 5, Who Do We Think We Are? Number 4, the live album Made in Japan. Number 3, Fireball. Number 2, Machine Head. And coming in at number 1, the classic heavy album, In Rock. All right, so hopefully you enjoyed this video. and maybe it inspired you to go listen to some Deep Purple. All right, have a good day.